41 Murder Stories, Accidental and Intentional, according to Reddit. Number 41. In '76, I was 6 years old. My grandpa was my best friend and my hero. He always wore striped bib overalls, so I had to have matching ones. I'd sit on his lap and we'd eat Cheetos and watch Zorro. We'd also play a silly game, pulling hair out of each other's arm. We were wrestling around one day, and I hit him in the nose with my head, and it started to bleed. So badly that he ended up in the hospital. He died 2 days later. I was always told that I remembered it wrong and that I had nothing to do with it. Last year I was at my uncle's, another man who I greatly admired. I knew he would tell me the truth, so I asked him. He pretty much said I remembered it correctly. Grandpa was taking blood thinners, and the hospital never really got the bleeding stopped, and he basically choked to death. Before anyone says my uncle was an asshole for telling me this, I am grateful to finally know the truth. Hello everyone in the chat. Here's hoping you're having a relatively interesting week. Faith, hello sweetie. Professional commenter, Genevieve, Stripes, Sedasia. As we travel up this list of 41 murder stories, intentional and accidental, we reach number 40. Throwaway, because I don't want anyone I know thinking about it. When I was 5 years old, my family was living on a small street of an army base. My best friend lived 2 houses down, and we would forever pick on our sisters. Mine was 4, and his was 3. One day, we thought it would be fun to climb out onto the carport and yell for them to try and find us. And when they did, we would splash them with water from up high. Mine came out and it went as planned. His sister, however, ran into the street and was crushed by a moving truck driving by. He just screamed. I jumped off trying to get her to wake up. Everyone in the family came outside to see what was going on, only to see me trying to shake awake the bloody mess of a little girl. My family dragged me away, and the ambulance showed up to take away the body. My friend moved away, and within weeks, I didn't play outside until we moved from that house less than a year later. Years after that, I would drive by there, just to cry. I still think about it sporadically, but I have never sought professional help for it. I was responsible for others during my time in the military, but none have ever had the same impact. Number 39. I was 15. My best friend and I promised one another we'd call the other and let them talk us down if we were being suicidal. If anybody listening to this is feeling suicidal, go ahead and send me a message. Why do you think I'm always making myself available, you freaking cuck? He called me around dinner one night that I planned to stay to watch the re-airing of the Colbert Report. Mixed the call at dinner time, but was fighting with my mom, so I didn't call back. Fell asleep before the report, and my friend called again twice just after midnight from the roof of our high school. I slept through it and his texts, so he jumped. It was 10 years this February 8th. I'm so sorry, Zach. Ugh. Guys, it's very important that you establish a support network, okay? Because putting all of your eggs in one basket, as it pertains to this guy's scenario of only having one friend to call, I'm sure maybe he was calling other people, but the idea of being each other's lifeline is a bit much, isn't it? It's a bit intense, heavy burden to carry. People are willing to be there for you, man, and you have so much to give. So focus on that giving instead of taking away your life from others. 38 has been deleted. 37. Back when I was using heroin, it's funny that heroin is only one letter away from heroing. Interesting. Back when I was using heroin and meth heavily, 4 years clean now, congrats, my friend and I, Taylor, ran off and got a hit from a dope man who owed us money, or who he owed money to. Well, nothing out of the ordinary. We ran around getting every dope boy to front us at every opportunity. This time we went to the same man who we had screwed over a few days earlier. Took the guy 6 hours to get there. We had my car and only enough cash for either a hit or gas to drive him. So we waited in my dead-ass car, fiending. Talked about all sorts of things, music, life, all the wonderful things we were going to do. Our guy shows up, we get the dope. Nothing seemed off, even gave it to us in a fresh rig. Taylor took the hit. 50-50 shot. That hit was mine. And had things gone differently, he would be here and I would be dead. The guy gave him a hot shot. Basically, as I understood it at the time, it was battery acid that Taylor shot directly into his veins. He gasped. He shook. He looked at me with a look I'll never forget. He convulsed and vomited, and I can only imagine the pain he felt. I know that fear of powerlessness in that moment. No matter what I did, he was dead. I still remember his eyes staring up at me while I freaked out, and then, just like that, he was gone. It was so fucking sudden. Like 1 second, here is all essence of this life right in front of me, and the next, it is so clear that it is gone. The muscles holding the expression on his face relaxed. The fucking sigh as gravity pushes the breath out. I will never forget. Bing bong. Number 36. When I was little, I was on top of a side at our town's pool. I was waiting for the lifeguard to give me the okay sign, so I had a good view of the pool. I saw a boy, a little younger than me, with his face down in the water, just floating. I thought it was strange and waited for him to move, but he just kept floating face down. I knew he was drowning, and I knew I had to tell the lifeguard right next to me. However, I was extremely shy and was so scared to talk to a stranger, even if it was to save someone's life. I started crying, not knowing what to do, which distracted the lifeguard. Finally, someone else noticed and jumped into the pool to save him, but it was too late. I've never told anyone this before. I'm so ashamed and disgusted with myself. I know I didn't kill him directly, but if I had just spoken up, he would probably still be alive with his family. I'll never forgive myself for this. Death by inaction. Intense. Intense. Number 35. 1995. Was living with my druggy mother and sisters who was 4 years older than me. My mom worked at a bar, and as a 7-year-old kid, lived half my time in that bar. We did have a house that was more of a shed on a lot that was converted into a house. Well, my mom got close with one of the patrons who also drank a lot, and did drugs. Well, one day she broke up with him, I guess, and he kept coming over and threatening her. A few days later, she gets a call from him, not sure what was said, but she tries to hurry us into the back room where we kept our clothes. She attempts to hide us all under the clothes, but I started freaking out and tried to leave the house. As I get to the front door, a truck pulls in. I stop and hear him get out, screaming for my mother. He tries to get in the door at first and fails. I'm about 3 feet to the side of the front door. He shoots at the door. I freak and jump on top of the couch that is right next to the door while also grabbing my t-ball bat. He kicks and kicks at the door, and it finally opens. He walks in and I pound him right in the forehead. He instantly goes out. I scream and my mom finally comes out with my sister and we both leave, then call the police. That same time I went to go live with my father permanently as my mother had arrest warrants. I didn't know until I was about 16 that he ended up dying in the hospital between my concussion and alcohol poisoning. I don't feel bad about it though, as you shouldn't. You assholes opening fire. You need to know what it's like to have some of that life takey comey at you. That's what guns are for, killing people. So you put one in your hand and you're not defending yourself, you better be ready to die. Nice and ready to die. Number 34. I had a close friend in my physics program around 5 years ago. During summer break, we would chat every day or so about our lives, what we were doing, and what our plans were coming back to school. I was really into cycling at the time, and I was encouraging her to get a mountain bike or something similar so that we could go riding when she got back in town. I encouraged her enough that she told me the next day she was going to go riding. That was the last thing I ever said to her. The next day, while she was riding with her father, her tire hit her father's, and she lost control and swerved into the road just as a large truck was passing. They had to have a closed casket funeral. Jeez. I know people are gonna tell me that it isn't my fault, but I'm always haunted by the belief that if I hadn't encouraged her to go riding, she never would have, and that she would still be here today. Her parents wouldn't have lost their only daughter. Hello, Mist. As we continue up the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional, we reach number 33. When I was 4, I had a habit of pushing people around. One day, my frail 76-year-old grandma was walking in the lawn, and I kinda just pushed her. I didn't know the gravity of my actions, but I remember her going down and just staying there. I didn't say anything. I was also frozen, not knowing what to do next. Then I remember the hospital visits. my aunt from the States coming home, asking me what happened, why I did that, and I just cried. I honestly didn't know why. 2 weeks later, Grandma died. And 12 years later, my family still occasionally jokes around that Grandma will haunt me for killing her. I just laugh. But inside, it hurts. Because I blame myself for her death, as rightfully you should, you little shit. Little kids are assholes. They're just little monsters waiting to be tempered by the cold steel that is a parent's guidance. But the parents here are to blame. They should have been made aware that they need to teach their little shit kids to be delicate with old people. Ugh. I've read a story in the past about a kid jumping on a pregnant woman's baby and causing the death of the unborn child. You gotta communicate with these little kids what's okay and what's not okay. Ignorance can't be their shield forever. Number 32. I work armed security for a campus police department. Most of the department are police, with a few of my type. In my state, I'm considered a non-sworn law enforcement, and to someone not in the industry, have most of the same authority as a police officer. There are differences, but for this, it is pedantic. I had a guy walk into the area where I was eating my dinner with a cut down the side of his face. So naturally I shift into help mode and I'm all about getting the guy first aid. He told me someone had just stolen his car and cut his face, so I called for a police officer to handle the felony report and medics for the guy's face. Then comes the awkward moment of waiting while the guy bleeds all over himself. The two of us just sit staring at each other, and I hate awkward moments. My patrol car had a trauma kit for active shooter. We're only supposed to use it on fellow officers, but fuck. That this guy is bleeding all down his shirt, so fuck that. This guy is bleeding all down his shirt. Punctuation is important, people. So I offered him that kit, lost my place, with the caveat that I'm not an EMT, and he accepted. So I hopped up and went to the door that my car was parked at. Right when I got to the door, the guy was lagging behind me, and I don't like people behind me, so I stopped and tried to get him to sit down and wait for me to get the kit. That's when he said, "Officer, I have a problem." I don't remember hearing anything after that, so I guess my auditory memory shut off. Right after he said that, he conjured a mini sledgehammer. Sorry. My video game mind is going nuts. I'm thinking it's Skyrim and he just manifested a mini sledgehammer out of nowhere. But he must have had it on him and then he pulled it out. Let's not use crazy terminology here. Right after he said, "Officer, I have a problem," he pulled out a miniature sledgehammer. And for people who are having trouble visualizing that, it's pretty much just like a little mallet, but it's a serious thing. It can do some real damage. Our brains it's a fucking hammer is what it is. Okay, so there you have it. Let's return. I have absolutely no idea where it came from. It was just there in his hand and he was raising it up high. I dropped what felt like a slow, breathy, "Oh, fuck me," and I started backing up and drawing my pistol. The situation took a pretty big spiral downward after that because my backing up, I tripped over some furniture and fell down between the ottoman and the fireplace grate with my weapon side down to the ground. He was charging through with the hammer, so I couldn't stand up or I'd be in range. So I just dove away into a corner. He plowed through the furniture and I was still on the ground. Right then, I cracked. Nowhere to go, no distance to create. The guy I was going to help was going to kill me. All I wanted to do was curl into a ball, cry, and beg for life. Once that flash of pathetic wimpiness hit, I became pissed. Absolutely livid. I was mad at myself for giving up, mad at this asshole who thought he could kill me. I've never, ever felt that kind of rage before. I got into a kneeling position and then bum rushed him. I grabbed the wrist with the hammer and shook the shit out of it until he dropped the hammer. Then in my rage, all I wanted to do was rip his scraggly beard off his fucking face. My memory blanks out right about there and kicks back in with me leaning way back against a high desk and this guy over top of me. To shorten it up, after that he pawed at my holster trying to grab my neck with both hands, eventually pulled a picture-perfect takedown and got full mount. Eventually I was on my feet, grappling out into the open with no furniture or anything blocking me, and I knew I was too gassed to keep going. There was no hammer anymore, but I couldn't keep fighting the grapple fest that we were doing. I shoved him hard, drew my gun, pulled the trigger, click, misfire. Hands down, the biggest what the fuck moment I've ever had. I managed to shove him again, rack the slide, then fired 2 rounds. My auditory memory kicked back in, and he said, "All right, I'm done, I'm done." He kind of fell to the floor and was flopping around trying to get back up. I got my radio up and running since the fight knocked it off of me and called for backup. He had a hand down at his waistline, and I could see blood up on his shoulder. I just kept my gun on him and waited for backup. Just trying to breathe and not puke up the food I was just eating. My backup arrived, told me to go outside, where I immediately puked up spaghetti and lemon pepper chicken. The guy died before the medics could stabilize him in the room. From the time I called for the police and medics to the time I called in shots fired, it was 3 minutes. Take away the awkward staring, me going for a first aid kit, and the radio pick up, the whole fight was probably just under 2 minutes. Well, damn. Officer wants to help a guy with a cut on his face, turns his back on him to go get a health kit to save him or help him, and then the guy exposes a hammer and tries to attack him. Some people are asking for it. Some people are asking for it. As we proceed up the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional, we reach number 31. I'll post this because I don't usually talk about it in my life, but here I am. I don't feel alone here. I was 9 years old and my brother 11 years old, and we were pretty close. But after moving to a new state, he wanted to have his own friends. Feeling left out, I decided I wanted to be part of his friendship that he had just developed. Quick backstory. My brother and I were seen as outcasts in New Jersey, moving from a southern state, and it wasn't easy adjusting. He had just made a best friend, Ricky, who was the top of the class, star Pee Wee quarterback, and all-around loved kid. They decided to go for a bike ride down to the local reservoir, where most kids would hang out. I followed them after. Why does this seem familiar? This seems familiar. He had just made a best friend, Ricky, who was at the top of the class, star Pee Wee quarterback and all-around loved kid. They decided to go for a bike ride down to the local reservoir where most of the kids would hang out. I followed them after specifically being told not to by my brother and they ended up leaving their bikes behind and hiking around a dangerous overpass by the waterfall, and ended up finding me trailing them not too far behind. As upset as my brother was, he knew we were too far in the journey to turn back, and reluctantly accepted the fact that he couldn't enjoy his bonding experience without me being a nuisance. Less than a few minutes later, after me constantly slipping on the rocks, they were extremely close to tragedy. Slipping on the rocks that were extremely close to tragedy, we decided to wash the mud off of our shoes. Ricky decided it was too dangerous for me to wash my shoes and took the task himself to protect me. In less than a blink of an eye, Ricky was gone, vanished into thin air. The police recovered his body days later, and my brother was seen as a murderer and that weird kid who killed our beloved son by the whole town. The pain that doesn't go away rots my mouth, knowing he will never be happy because I took the only hope he had away from him. Being poor and a helpless kids, I took my brother's light at the end of the tunnel and dimmed it for good. My brother and I are still close, but he and I both know that the day changed our lives forever. If I only listened to my big brother, life as we know it wouldn't be the same. Thank you, stranger, for reading this, as I know we all feel pain. It's nauseating knowing I took a life worth more than my own. Ooh. That's a pretty stinging fucking phrase you just wrote. So to summarize for people who may, that was kind of a difficult read for me. A quick summary. Two kids, they move to a new place. One of the kids finds another guy, and they're going to bond by going on a bike ride. And, the brother tells the little brother not to come along, like it's his thing, let him do his thing. But the little brother tags along anyway, and it gets kind of dangerous out where they end up going. And one of the kids that the older brother is trying to befriend offers to wash off the other kid's fucking shoes because it would be too dangerous for the little kid. And then the kid dies. And it's because of that little bitch kid that holy shit shouldn't have been there. Holy shit. So let's travel up. Fuck me. That is the ultimate case of like, I told you so. Ooh. Number 30. She was turning 13. I was 13, turning 14. It was her birthday, and a group of us went to an old power plant to explore. Oh, I don't like how this is going. I asked her to go out with me earlier that day. It was hilariously awkward, and now it's bittersweet. Our friends stayed on the ground floor, and she and I crawled up to the third floor to make out, but we were just going to tell everyone we did. I was too advanced, and she was a good girl from the nice part of town. After 10 minutes of edging along the wall, she let go of my hand and tried to crawl over to a window to look out. It's taken me years to get past the moment, and I think clearly about what happened. I hear a yelp and a crack that still makes me nauseous today. I can't watch videos of a skater falling or a holster or saw. I crawled down to her, and all of our friends ran off to get help. I remember being pissed that no one was helping. I was trying to do CPR or something to save her life. The cops found us, and I was covered in blood. I've been told it's not my fault. Her parents still blame me. We went to court for a few times, and my saint of a public defender was able to argue out of manslaughter charges. Holy shit. That's just the way life goes. Number 29. Live in Colorado, where Make My Day law is in effect. Make My Day law? What's Make My Day law? I love that it's called Make My Day. It's apparently a law that gives gun owners the right to shoot and kill any intruder if they believe the person intends to commit a crime and use physical force. But what is an intruder? You know what I mean? Somebody who doesn't belong in there, somebody who's visiting. Like, can you shoot a mother-in-law and be like, look, man, make my day? You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I live in Colorado, where Make My Day law is in effect. He broke in, and it was my room, and I reacted with a baseball bat. To this day, I wish I would have just ran out of the room and got my dad. Why? You killed that intruder. That's what he deserves. People need to stop breaking into places. The fuck is wrong with you people? You listening to this right now, and you're the type that breaks and enters? Don't do that shit. It could be the last thing that you ever do. What's the point? Is it worth it? It couldn't be worth it. Don't break into people's. This is not your place. So we travel up the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional. We reach number 28. A car ran a stop sign right in front of me one night when I was heading back from a friend's house. I drilled it, going about 50 miles per hour. Everything went dark, and when I came to, I was facing the opposite way on the other side of the road I'd been traveling down. I kicked my door open, got out, and it was the most powerful sense of derealization / depersonalization I've ever felt. I was totally out of my body, just standing quietly in the middle of the street on a peaceful summer night. Glass everywhere. My Ford Explorer in front of me just fucking destroyed beyond belief. I start coming to my senses and I hear a car horn. I look around and realize it's coming from the car I hit. So I start sprinting as fast as I can toward it. I get up close and see the driver's side is totally crushed, the window shattered. I looked inside and there's an elderly man, face down against the steering wheel, laying on the horn. Blood all over the place. To this day, I can't play Grand Theft Auto at all because of that particular feature. I start shaking him like crazy and yelling, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" There's no response. So I pull his body back toward the car seat away from the wheel. And it's an old woman, not a man, completely dead, face smashed up. Someone's mother and grandmother just lifeless and maimed, sitting right in front of me. Most terrible image. Just totally terrifying and numbing to see something like that. I stumble down the street and up towards the closest house and knock on the door. The woman answers in her pajamas and I can't even talk straight or anything. I'm just crying hysterically at this point and finally get out that there's been a bad wreck. By this time, people are pulling over and pouring into the street. I remember the emergency responders having to use the jaws of life to get her body out of the car, and then my mom showing up and seeing my car and holding her hands on her head and yelling, "Oh my God," over and over, as though she couldn't even grasp what had happened at all. As for the aftermath, I think about it maybe once every 3 to 4 months now. I have a ton of repressed memories from childhood / youth, and that's another one that is buried pretty deep. I don't feel a sense of guilt per se, as I was obeying the speed limit and did everything I could, but I still tear up now and then, thinking about some kid losing his or her grandma in such a way, or someone losing their mother like that, or an old man losing his wife and best friend in such a horrible manner that late in life. I just hope she immediately passed away on impact and didn't feel any pain, didn't suffer at all. Jesse Morales says, "Hey Kyle." Hello Jesse. Hello Kira. Hello to all of you alive people in the chat. Hope you haven't suffered any deaths recently. So we travel up the list of 41 murder stories, accidental or intentional. We reach number 27. When I was 14, my friends and I wanted to go to the beach, so I suggested the one near my house. It was notorious for bad rips, but I just figured that we would spot them and stay away. It was about 6 p.m. when we got there, and the lifeguards had gone home. We were in knee-deep water when we felt the pull of a rip. Me and one other friend made it out, but the two that were less than a meter further out, they couldn't. For the first 5 minutes, we thought they would be fine, and that they could catch a wave in. After that, we knew there was a problem. We started looking for someone and finally found an off-duty lifeguard 10 minutes after they were swept out. The lifeguard got a boat and was able to save one of my friends. He couldn't find the other. Her body was found later that night. If I hadn't suggested that beach, if I had been quicker to find a lifeguard, if I had spotted the rip, my best friend would still be alive. Number 25. I still remember it like it was yesterday. June 21st, 2007, Baghdad. A squad member of mine was just killed, and we were headed to the nearest forward operating base to regroup and recover. I was the lead vehicle and noticed a white car driving in our lane, headed straight for us. The adrenaline from the previous explosion and the firefight still coursing through me, I do everything I can to stop the vehicle, hand the arm signals, shouting, a damn whistle, nothing. So I give a warning shot. Still no response. The vehicle is still in our lane coming right at us, so I light the car up. It veers off and hits the Jersey barrier and stops. There's barely enough room to squeak by the car without hitting it as we are clearing it, and I see a man with his wife and baby in the back, all dead. The fucking asshole should have paid attention. But then again, maybe that's what he was supposed to do. I'll never know. The image of the bullet-ridden baby will haunt me until I die. Iraq sucks, man. This is the first time I have shared this story in public, and I am way too shaken to reread this. But it honestly feels kind of good to share. Number 23. Similar to the others, I was the driver in a car crash, slid on some black ice on the freeway, spun a few times before getting T-boned by an SUV going full speed. Friend in the passenger seat busted up his head in the windshield, and my brother behind me fractured his skull. My best friend in the passenger side back seat died. My friends at the time used humor to get through things. I have a dark sense of humor, but they consistently went too far, and I ended up leaving all of my close friends. For years after, I had to go to court because of the other cars that were affected by my crash, and my friend's mom was trying to see me for more money than the $100,000 my insurance already paid out. I used to scream out in my sleep. I dropped out of college shortly after and attempted suicide. I'm much better now. But 5 years later, and I still get anxiety when it snows. Number 22. I killed 2 kids in Afghanistan. They almost killed me. They were maybe 12. Their Taliban uncle had pumped them full of drugs and sent them to attack us to get killed, so the village would be against us. Fuck that guy. I still see their faces in my dreams, and it was 7 years ago. Number 20. I was driving on a small treacherous mountain road and my brakes went out. My friend talked me through it and I was able to stop my truck by easing into the mountainside at 55 miles per hour. The truck flipped and rolled and landed on the edge of a cliff. My friend was crushed during the roll and he tried to breathe, but his neck was broken. He died as I was trying to talk to him. I've read this before. I've read this list before. If I might share by breaking the list very quickly. I'll just continue and finish, and then I'll share at the end. Number 19. I made the incredibly difficult decision to sign a do not resuscitate for my 3-year-old son. He suffered from multiple physical and intellectual disabilities, and he spent the majority of his life in and out of pediatric inpatient units. Eventually, I became so sad at the thought of his suffering and continual downhill slide that I made the decision to do no more. I took him home from the hospital, and about 2 weeks later, he went into respiratory distress and died. I held him for 16 hours as he struggled to breathe, and I remember begging the hospice nurse to keep giving him the morphine and Ativan to end it because my heart couldn't take it anymore. I know I didn't physically kill him, but I still made the mental decision to do so. It hurts each and every day. Number 17. Oh, goddamn. I was 19. I went over to my girlfriend's house one Saturday morning, and we hung out until around 4 p.m. She was going over to her friend's house to go swimming, but I had other plans, so I didn't go. Her mom asked her to take a bag of trash to dump when she was out, so I told her I'd follow her to dump it and throw it out since it was on my way. I pulled in behind her at the dump. I grabbed the bag out of the back. She was driving her dad's truck because she didn't want trash in her car, and I tossed it into the dumpster. I banged on the trunk bed twice to let her know she could go and said bye. I realized after I left that I didn't say I love you like I usually did, so I sent her a text. She didn't answer me back, so I just assumed she didn't hear her phone. Her dad's truck has loud exhaust, so it made sense. I lived about 40 minutes away, and when I walked in my front door, I got a phone call from her mom. She was in panic. She told me there had been a wreck. My girlfriend was alive, but she was being flown by a helicopter to VCU Medical Center in Richmond, Virginia. I ran to my car and I didn't take my foot off the accelerator until I got to her parents' house. We got in her mom's car and made the 2-hour drive to Richmond. When we arrived, we walked into the emergency department and went to the front desk. Her dad told the receptionist who we were looking for. At the same time, a doctor was standing behind the counter, and the receptionist said that the name wasn't in the system, so she spun around and asked the doctor. He walked out, introduced himself, and asked a few questions to confirm who we were. Then he said she was dead. I was standing by a wall. I fell back against it and slid down to the floor, where I sat for a while in pure disbelief. Her parents went down the hall to talk to someone about something. I walked outside and sat beside a big column and smoked a cigarette. I called my parents. Didn't seem like I sat there very long, when I'm sure it was at least 3 or 4 hours. I just sat there. There are no words to describe that kind of hurt. Most of the next few weeks are missing from my memory. I just laid in bed and cried. I didn't eat and I didn't sleep. I just cried and stared at the wall. I cried until there were no more tears left, and then I cried some more. I weighed 160 pounds before she died. I weighed 120 pounds a month after she had died. I know it's not hard. I know it was hard on her parents watching me like that. My mom tried to get me to eat. I wouldn't. They tried to get me to get out of bed. I wouldn't. They even called a pastor to come talk to me. I told him to go fuck himself. There was nothing that could console me. Love of my life was dead. And I sent the text message that killed her. One day I just snapped out of it. I got up to go to the bathroom and I saw my reflection in the mirror. I barely recognized my face. I knew I had the choice to move on with my life or I'd be dead myself. I'm from a small town, so the only thing for young people to do was hang out in a Walmart parking lot. I got dressed and drove to Walmart, saw a few people I knew, so I stopped and talked to them. From then on, I spent every evening hanging out in the parking lot. The cops would come around and kick us out, so we'd find somewhere else to park and hang out. A year later, we got kicked out of the lot by the cops one night, so we decided to go to somebody's house and drink some beer. We all made phone calls and invited some people over. It was there at my friend's house that I met my next girlfriend. 2 years later, we got married. This month, we celebrate our 7th anniversary. We had 2 beautiful children, and I've never been happier. I know time heals all wounds is a really worn out cliche, but it's true. A couple of years ago, I was digging through my mom's cedar chest, looking for my birth certificate, and found a newspaper clipping from the accident. The newspaper said that other motorists reported she swerved to miss a dog, overcorrected, and flipped the truck. I never knew that was the case. Knowing that it wasn't my text message lifted a huge burden, but I still don't text. Is that Jackie in the stream chat? Guys, I believe that I've read this before, but I'm just powering through for the sake of doing it right now. Maybe somebody's listening that hasn't heard it. So I guess I'm doing this for you. That being said, I'd like to thank my patrons who put up with my bullshit. Reading lists that I've already read before. What a nightmare. The crazy thing is I avoided this list for another list that I'd already done. And I've done this one as well. Boy, am I out of shit to do, apparently. Ugh. Whatever. Number 16. On the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional. I was working out of town, which is pretty common in my line of work, touring with bands. We had just started a new tour with an artist, but as a crew, a bunch of us had been working together for several artists over the last few years. When you work these long hours, sometimes under ridiculous pressure and circumstances, and live on a tour bus, or live on a tour bus, sleeping a few feet away from 11 other grown adults, one of two things happens. You just get in with it, drink away your sadness, and you have from being exhausted and missing your family and friends because you haven't seen them in months, or you become incredibly close like a family. You're together through everything, long, incredibly hard hours, or experiencing the joy of something or somewhere new. On this particular tour, it was going to be a smaller group of us than the last tour. No need for a video technician, but we really liked the video technician. We had done a year or two together, and he was a really great kid. Always saw the bright side of everything, and you could always count on him to have a smile on his face, no matter how many hours we had been working. Lucky for the tour, more video equipment was added, and so he came out to join us right as we were going into rehearsals for the tour. We went through a week of rehearsals, then took a ferry to Victoria from Vancouver to start the tour. First show done, we all had such a great time and really easy first day. Load in, install, went quickly, and show went off without a hitch. When we finished a few hours earlier than expected, we went back to the hotel to get some food and have a drink. Our rooms were next to each other. It was a nice spring night. We sat outside of our adjoining balconies, and he was a wine expert. He loved red wine. I had an unopened bottle of red wine in my room, and he had an unopened bottle of white rime in his room, which he knew I liked. He leaned over the railing to pass me the bottle, which I easily grabbed from him. The balconies were so close together, so I passed him the bottle of red wine from my back room, but he slipped on the wet balcony. After this point, I have no memory of any sounds, but everyone on tour staying on the side of the hotel heard me screaming. I saw him go over the railing. I saw him hit the side of the hotel, and I saw him land 50 feet below me. I ran to the elevator, yelled at the front desk to call 911 on my way past, but it was too late. It wouldn't have mattered. I got to him and looked into his eyes, and they were lifeless. A large piece of the back of his head was a few feet from us. I held his hand and sobbed that I was sorry, until a security guard pulled me off. From that day, we were a tour family connected by the worst bond imaginable. Jessica, thank you for the $2. But you say, Kyle, your chat won't highlight your name sometimes. That's confusing, because it should. Sam Smith says, thank you. I haven't heard this list. That's who I'm doing it for. I appreciate it, Jessica. Thank you. As we travel up to number 15, undercooked food at a barbecue. That's a terrible way to go. A woman got food poisoning. Complications arose because of the pre-existing conditions that she had, and she got septic and died. She had just recently had a baby, so that was left without a mother. Don't cook while drunk, kids, because you might kill someone. This person didn't thoroughly cook food. Holy shit. Holy shit. Number 13. Not sure if this counts, but when I was a truck driver in training, actually, I had the misfortune to be the tool someone else used to commit suicide. Oh, God. I remember. We were driving late night on US 277 between Piedras Negras and Del Rio. It's kind of the armpit of Texas, flat, straight, boring, right near the border. It was at the wheel, or I was at the wheel. My driver mentor was in his bunk. But awake and chatting with me, I saw headlights ahead a long way off. Didn't think anything of it. After a while, they got close. And it looked like they went to turn left, only there wasn't a road anywhere. Then they straightened out and drove right into us head on. I had just enough time to see that it was a Tacoma and the driver was male. All I could do was let go of the steering wheel and hit the brakes. We were busted up pretty bad, a bunch of broken ribs and a bruised liver. We got out to see the damage, and when we walked to the rear, I saw work boots sitting on the double yellow line with about 6 inches of legs sticking out. I still get an odd feeling in my stomach when I think about it. Obviously, I didn't plan to kill the guy, and there wasn't much I could do without foreknowledge. Some eyes aren't exactly nimble, but it still takes a bit to tell yourself you couldn't have done something else. He had a young wife and 2 little girls. You chose to end your fucking life. Oh my God. Many people apparently thought that the guy could have fallen asleep. This is what we all thought. It was a couple of weeks before we found that he had left a note. So again, to reiterate, not just to people who may be in the stream chat right now, but to people watching this video after the fact, hope everyone's fine. Don't do the drugs. Don't commit suicide. And establish a support network, okay? Sometimes just knowing that someone's there for you is all the help that you may need. And I'm here for you. Just like I'm reading this list that I've probably and most definitely done before. Other people are there for you too. Number 12. I got caught in a bad situation with some muggers in Pakistan. They kill you after they take your things. They don't leave folks alive that often. So I shot back. Holy shit. Regina McDonald, thank you for the $20. And I haven't seen you in a long time. Nice hair in your default. Oh boy, I haven't seen Regina in a long time. You guys are making me want to reestablish the Streamlabs thing that I had. The thing is, I used to have this thing that would notify, you know, all types of things, you know, fucking subscribers and people donating. But as you can imagine, it was abused by one kid named Soup. But hopefully Soup has lost interest. We can go ahead and reestablish this thing. Give me one moment. And I'm gonna get the alert box back where it needed to be. Excellent. That's all I have to do. Sorry, Regina is saying that I'm doing okay. I was MIA for a bit working. Well, that's what's up. And I'm glad that things are well for you and that they continue to be well. So thank you for being a special addition in my day. And I hope that people are as wonderful as you are being for me in the stream right now. As we continue up the list that I have unfortunately read already, of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional, we arrive at number 11. It reads, when I was young, I used to get bullied a lot. I was in the 9th grade and I had this one person, a senior, that would harass me and sometimes hit me constantly. I always tried to just ignore it, but I had to walk outside to get one of my classes. I had to walk outside to get to one of my classes, and he knew it. Not a lot of people were around us. We were on the sidewalk walking down a hill towards the agriculture barn. He pushed me, and I fell down the hill a little, but caught myself. I got angry, angrier than I normally would get. I got so angry that for the first time, I pushed him back. Instead of falling to the side or not falling at all like I thought he would, he fell right off the sidewalk onto the road for student parking and buses and fell in front of a bus. There were a few people watching and I called the police afterwards. I know he was bullying me, but I have nightmares about what I did. Because of what the people who saw said, and of course the camera outside of the building. Luckily, I never suffered any consequences, but I almost wish that I had. This motherfucker sounds like he got what was coming to him. And if you want to be an asshole that takes it up other people, or takes it out on other people, then maybe you need to be prepared for the worst, you cuck. Special thanks again to Regina. She's so special. She says, "You're so welcome, Kyle. I appreciate that." Regina says she's been away because of work and 4 kids. Damn. That sounds like way more balls in the air than anybody wants to juggle. But bless you, Regina, you know. Oh, your husband was deployed. God bless him. May God be with him. Serious Sketch says, why are you giving Kyle all the money when you got your own life to worry about? Because, you know, it's a little appreciatory monkey balls, and I appreciate her for it. Where? As we continue up this list, we arrive at number 10. I was supposed to get up and check on my mom. She had been fighting cancer for 4 years, and it had been the majority of my mid-20s, spending my time on her. Left for college, etc., but she was planning on getting up and driving herself to her doctor's that day. But I usually check up on her because she can have bad days. I overslept. It was nearly 11 a.m. and I woke up to a phone call from my dad saying the doctors hadn't seen her. I checked upstairs in her room, then the kitchen, nothing. Then I saw the bathroom door open a crack. What was in there was basically half a mummy on the floor and feces everywhere mixed with vomit. I don't know what happened, but I called 911 without stepping foot in the bathroom. Hello, 911? My mom's dead. The flat pan explanation caught the poor guy off guard completely. I mean, I guess I was in shock, but not really that shocked, you know? He was in full panic. I followed along and pretended to perform CPR. Her eyes were white. She was covered in vomit, ice cold, and drained like a mummy. Sometime later, I don't have any idea for time perspective. It was all moving very slowly. The paramedics showed up. We were a small town. Everyone knew us. I'm in my underpants, and the lead paramedic is a good friend from high school. The awkward exchange was not something I forget. They pretended to do CPR for about 30 seconds, then get a command to keep working on it in the truck. I messaged him on Facebook later and asked that was a show, which it was, obviously, and he said, basically, we always do on a deceased at the scene. Hey, damn Serious Sketch, I appreciate it. Regina says she got an A+ on her certification. Okay, that is probably not the best music for the tone of this list, but hey, I've read this list already, man. I'm sorry. Again, I'm reading it for whoever may be here that hasn't heard it, but jeez, man. Oh, man. This was always difficult, but just a gory version of expectation. The next part haunts me. I had to call my dad back. He ran home from work. He ran around the house getting her things. He wanted to make sure that we had her medical info for the ER doctors and her medication list. I kept trying to explain we wouldn't need it. I kept trying to keep him in this world. I was too much of a coward. I was speaking in riddles. Did he just do it again? Thank you, Serious Sketch, for the $2 more. Don't tempt me, you sexy fella. He's talking to me? He's talking to Stripes. Yeah, no, that music. I'm glad it did. Oh. I thought it wasn't going to come in again, and then it did. And it says the thing he said. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Well. There goes this list. I was doing pretty good too. The mood, you know what I mean? I don't care. It's worth it. You guys know what's up. Oh, man. Well, whatever. You know what I mean? Let's just start over. Number 9. This is a short one. Can't be interrupted. I was 12 when it happened. And as much as it was pure accident, my life was better afterward. My mom and I were living with her boyfriend at the time, and this man was a drunk and an abuser. I came home one day from school to find him beating my mom in the kitchen, and I had never even thought about standing up to this guy. He was above 6'3" and was very broad, but to this day, I came home from school and it made me summon all of the courage I had to save my mom. As I ran over to them, I grabbed a fork off of the table and stabbed him just below the shoulder on the back. It scared him so much that he had a heart attack and died on the floor. I don't remember this one, but I freaking love it, dude. You know, I thought that it would be a big blunt object that the kid used, like a bat or a hammer, something that you could really follow through with and then swing the weight into it. But he used a little fucking fork that wasn't going to do any real damage. But the dude got so fucking shocked that he died of a heart attack on the spot. Bing bong. Holy shit. Boy. Sadeja is saying, I agree, Kevin. What's Kevin saying? What's Kevin saying? Sketch says the reason I asked was because I had no good reason to save my money. What did he ask? What did Sketch ask? You guys confuse me so hard. Regina probably misses Stripes, who encourages the stream to believe her lies. As we travel up the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional, who can beat Regina for her sexy contribution? Nobody, that's who. In your faces, bro. Regina wins. Fatality. Here's a side question. Should I be trying to get $30 to play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds? I keep hearing people suggesting it, but it's like, I mean, is it really for me? Seems like a lot of walking, dude, you know? So we reach number 8. I've done it. When I was around 6, I had a habit of sleeping on the stairs. Oh shit. Oh shit. One day my sister, who was currently pregnant, was going down the stairs and I ended up tripping over me and fell down hard. She ended up miscarrying. I guess it's not. Okay, this is the one I was telling you all about earlier. And then there was another one where a kid was like jumping up and down and on some bitch's stomach because the parents didn't make it clear to the kid that like the mommy's carrying a baby and you could kill the baby. So let me start this one over. Forgive me, I got a bit excited. Number 8. When I was around 6, I had a habit of sleeping on the stairs. One day my sister, who was currently pregnant, was going down the stairs. I was on and ended up tripping over me and fell down hard. She ended up miscarrying. I guess it's not killing someone in a traditional sense, but in a way, I did kill my unborn niece/nephew. I never really got over it. It was and still is horrifying to me. Bing fucking bong, all right? Bing bong. Sorry I missed some of the things that you guys were saying. Sedasia says, Big Worm Kevin said courage is a sexy fuck, Kyle. Am I courage? I didn't know. Sketch said, I asked why Regina gave you so much money, Kyle. You read it earlier. Well, you know the answer, Sketch. It's because she believes in what I'm about. And I appreciate her for that. I appreciate her for her contribution. And I appreciate her for even being in my life. Because we could be busy not knowing each other or talking to each other at all, but instead, we're together and part of each other. Even if we always can't be on deck at all times, we're still there. Why are people talking about soup? Who gives a damn? And a woman too. Oh my god, you guys are validating soup's existence. That's interesting. Raphael says it would be better to spend the money on posters with the link to Kyle's channel. You mean to put up like around the town or something? That would be ridiculous. It would just say YouTube/Kyle and people would be like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I'd get calls from the police. Are you the guy putting up these posters? I don't even live out there. We're coming to your house. We're gonna kill you. We're the cops. Fuck you, buddy. We are the cops. Fuck you. That's how they end their conversations. The cops ain't playing, man. Again, I appreciate you, Sketch. I appreciate you, Regina. It's nice not having seen you in a while to know that you're well. Sometimes I go back a year and watch a stream, and just to see all of the names of people who never show up again is very interesting stuff. Kira says, I hope I can make someone feel validated. You already have. Oh shit, Serious Sketch hit us with another $2. I believe in the fuck out of you. I appreciate that, Sketch. Yes, Serious Sketch believes in the fuck out of me. Sorry, somebody asked me if I still use PayPal, and then I just threw the link in there. Oh my god, Jessica E is Jessica, you sent the Starburst. I don't know how well you can hear this, but I'm holding them right now. And they didn't come with a note, you know? And that sucks. Actually, what if it's inside? Oh god! Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. That was stupid. That was stupid, and I apologize. Jessica E says that was the most pointless purchase ever. Listen to me. Listen to me. There have got to be dumber things on my wish list than a pound. You know what? I think I took it off. I think I came to my senses and took it off. I had a pound of marshmallows. On my wish list at some point. And when I woke up one day, I was like, what the fuck are you thinking? Just a bag of marshmallows. $12? Nigga, what the hell are you people thinking? Who's paying that much for I don't know, $10? That's nuts. It should be the price of a cereal box. No bigger than one box of the cereal box. What were we doing again, Kyle? We were traveling up the list of 30. That's not that number. Of 41 murder stories. Thank you again, Regina, Sketch, and Jessica. Oh boy. Oh boy. Why is this chick calling in the middle of a list? You know I'm in the middle of a list. God. Skype is getting shut down. Stripe is the worst. Sometimes as soon as sometimes I'll stream for like 2 hours and then I'll end the stream and Stripes will be like, it's time for me to call. And I'll be like, oh, Stripes, I love you. Just let me finish this. I already have like such trouble hooking. I mean, yes, I've read this list already, but this is something. This is something. You know, Sketch asks a question, Kyle, do you know how light marshmallows are? And I guess I never really thought of it like that. You know, sometimes we just think like, oh, a pound of shit, that's what's up. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Thank you, Regina. Oh my God, let's get you just. This girl just gave another 20. Seriously, Regina, tell me what I can do for you, because I owe you, though. I really do. I really do. And nobody else give money to the super chat. Give it to the PayPal if you're going to do it. Nobody do that. This is scary. Okay, now. Yeah, in your face, Sketch. Regina's shaking it down like a Polaroid picture. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry. Listen, God. Oh, Regina, thank you. She loves what she's doing, too. Because I get really flustered and anxious. And I feel like I need to do something now. What? Jackie says, I'm glad I came back. I love that song. What song? The little jingle that plays when, that's the Be Right Back music from the Eric Andre show. Oh, boy. Somebody's asking where I get my soundboard buttons? What do you mean where I get them? Are you talking about that other page where like sometimes I would open it up and then it would say stuff like I would go, wait, what was the line? The line was something like, everybody said that people who were seated close to him were affectionately in the splash zone. That's not funny. Hope Payton says, hello, Kyle. And to everybody who's in this stream, I love you. I apologize. Jessica was contributing some cash. So was Sketch. But Regina was really just blowing my mind with as far as the amount of money that she was out here shaking on down. So I am getting my shit together. And I am traveling back towards the list of 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional. Ooh, people watching this after the fact are just going to be furious. They are going to be feeling something. As we travel up this list, we arrive at number 7. I was the driver in a car accident with my 3 best friends. The 3 of them died. I survived. Somehow. Just writing that makes me nauseous today. And I say today because every day is different. Some days I can talk about it or write about it and I'm okay. And some days I just want to go back in bed and cry and scream. And today apparently is one of those days. The thing is though, you never really know until something triggers you. And I hate that word, but it just leads you into a spiral. You know what I mean? Speaking of a spiral, one time when I was about to get there, if you girls know what I'm talking about, and it came out in the spiral. You know what I'm talking about? But nobody was in the splash zone. I'm so sorry. It's not funny. Get that soundboard out of here. That's not funny. Again, special thanks to Regina, because she's scary. She's scary. And thank you, Jessica, for being the one who sent that pound to Starburst. But yeah, man, Sketch Pros is an interesting point. Marshmallows can't weigh too much, so a pound of them would probably be a really obnoxious amount of marshmallows. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. I think I'm deciding to put it in. A pound of marshmallows. It's got to be a lot. It's true now. Put that on the list. We're going to go ahead and situate that like... Didn't I put like a black lamp on this list or something? Black curtains, black sheets, black pillow. Where's the lamp? There's the lamp. I want the lamp. Write something crazy like... Okay, what are you doing, stupid? That's good. That's fine. Who's saying they love you to Maggie? People are telling Maggie they love her. Big Worm said that's 2 pounds. Oh, is it? Do they have 1 pound bags of marshmallows? Marshmallow. 1 pound. You know, it's funny because you guys are witnessing me losing a fight with my keyboard, but you know what I have? The trusty backspace button, which I utilize before hitting the enter button. So 1 pound is $10.99? Oh, this one's $9.99. But why not just pay the extra bing bong? You know, this is 13 bucks and it's 2 pounds. You see what I'm saying? This one makes the most sense here. Maggie's all like, "Do you know me?" Well, I could know you, Maggie. Preferably if you're suicidal. Not that I want you to be suicidal. I'm just saying, don't do drugs. Don't suicide. And I'm here if any of you needs a support network. But it better be good. You guys better open it up with like, so I got the razor blade in my hand right now. I'm kidding. Do not. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. Do not. I don't even want to go forward with what I'm thinking, but somebody's already going to do it. So I'm telling you not to do it. So don't do it. Do not send me Snapchats of you with a razor blade in your hand, or worse. Ooh, shut up. Just stop talking about it right now. What a terrible thing. What a terrible idea. Let's continue up the list of 41. Oh, fuck. I've ruined it. Of 41 murder stories. I'm not, oh my God. Oh my God. Please don't do what I just thought up. Please don't do that. I'm dead serious. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. 41 murder stories, accidental and intentional, okay? Can you imagine if this list inspired a murder story where somebody just cut themselves out and said, "I do this for you, Kyle. I'm bleeding out for you." You know what I mean? As a guy, like... Oh God, this is gonna be really, really, really rude, okay? But why kill yourself when you could make some guy like the happiest guy in the world by just, I don't know, blowjobbing or something, you know what I mean? The happiest guy in the world, but instead you're just like, I got nothing to live for, I have no purpose. I could give you a purpose, girl. Oh no, that's really rude. Forget it, forget it, forget it. Okay, look. Number 6. I am a locomotive engineer. I drive trains.
I like trains.
That's not funny. Well, how old are you? 13 times in my 19-year career. Did they mean carrier? Because they wrote career. 13 times in my 19-year career so far, someone ended up in front of my train that did not survive. Jesus Christ. Why do people jump in front of the trains? Suicide, I was just talking about this, Jesus Christ. Suicide, poor judgment, or no sense of situational awareness combined with a vehicle that takes a mile or so to stop equals death 50% of the time in my experience. The nightmares of various incidents awaken me repeatedly or regularly. Pretty sure that I suffer from PTSD, but if I do something about it, I will lose my job because it would be a medical disqualification. I cannot let what happened at the same... I cannot let that happen at the moment, as financial ruin would result. Please stay out of the path of a freight train. And this is so sad because it's like, you know, you want to kill yourself, dude. If that's where you reached and you think there's legitimately no other option, whatever, man. You know what I mean? But the scary part is, why you got to include somebody else in your monkey balls and ruin your life for them? You're ruining your life. Stripes and I tried to record a list earlier and it just fell apart. You want to know why? Here's why. I'll upload it at the end of this because I do that for, you know, you guys. But here's what happened. Stripes calls. No, I call Stripes in the middle of the list. I intend to hang up. She's like, Stripes, hang up on me. So I leave it on. But you know what I also left on? This. So I'm reading through the rest of the list and I left the splash image up. And I'm thinking, oh no. And I really would have recognized it if I didn't have the chick on the phone, but I did. So am I blaming Stripes on an error of mine? Or am I blaming an error of mine on Stripes? No. But I'm just saying, you know. Maggie says, do you miss me, Kyle? Maggie, who are you? While we're talking about people, I don't know. I recently signed up for this thing called Line. It was like an application called Line because I was trying to find groups of losers still playing Pokemon Go in my area. I just made an account. Like I made a fresh account. Faith timed out Maggie. I love that. Who is this chick? Faith's not in the mood for it, though. That's amusing. Wait, why did Faith laugh in the grossest way? All I know is that Faith would probably be fine with ending up in the splash zone. You know what I'm talking about? It's really fucking childish, so stop it. Don't do that again, Kyle. You understand me? Or I'm gonna put you in time out. Time out. I wish I could remember how I did that because that was pretty amazing. It was probably like going, slap it on some. Wait. It was probably like hold on. The splash zone. Did that even record anything? The splash zone. So then if I take that and I hit it with like a really obnoxious echo effect. Decay factor of 0.9. Preview. The splash. The splash. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. Never mind that. Never mind, okay? Number 5. People say euthanizing is illegal for humans in the US, but as a nurse, when I have palliative orders, they are given to narcotics and benzos every 5 minutes as needed. You bet your ass they're given every 5 minutes. I have killed people. They were about to die, and I hope that I took their pain away in their process. But the drugs I have given to take that pain away and contribute to their death, no, the drugs that I have given. Oh, somebody's at the door. This is real life. Give me a second. It's my grandmother. Oh no. Guys, I love you and I will stream again soon, but real life is literally attacking, so I'll catch you guys soon.